I've watched a lot of TV musical episodes. It's almost become a rite of passage for a television show. Everything from young adult dramas like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Supernatural, or TV comedies like Scrubs or Community or even Malcolm in the Middle have all tackled the TV musical episode. Some are good, some are terrible, and some I'm not entirely sure qualify. But what we're really looking at is when cult classic hits throw down. It's gotta be one of the greatest challenges for a show to take on, and that's the introduction of the plausibility of a musical existing within the canon universe. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is definitely one of the episodes that is at the top of the list in terms of writing, production, and execution. Remember when the Flash and Supergirl musical extravaganza aired? The hype was real. We were so ecstatic because the talent between those two shows alone is enough to cast a Broadway musical, which is one of the reasons that they even considered trying to do this. Some of the cast have even starred on Broadway or on-screen adaptations of Broadway musicals. Of course, the two main stars of the shows are Glee alum, and DC actually has a super easy in for this with the Music Meister. They've even used it in Batman the Brave and the Bold. I mean, you have the lovable NPH singing. Hell yes. I was stoked. I was convinced this was going to be the next great thing because, well, the DC cinematic universe was crumbling. DC TV had actually put out a surprisingly constant string of hits. I mean, they've even struck gold again with Superman returning to the small screen. The thing is, nobody was more excited for the prospect of a musical existing within the Arrowverse than me. It's a combination of everything I love, from superheroes to musicals. Two things that don't usually combine. I mean, unless you're a fan of Dr. Horrible, but that's a whole other discussion. The thing is, when the episode aired, there was this huge outflowing of praise. And I kind of just sat back and went, really? Because for me, the episode kind of fell flat. Let's just say that it's not the singers that make the musical. The music itself was not terrible. Cheesy, but still fun. And Melissa's rendition of Moon River was absolutely gorgeous. I still listen to it to this day, but everything else about that episode just lost me. You have to understand that TV is a three-dimensional visual medium. So unlike shows like Buffy or Community that understood how to use that space, the Supergirl and Flash crossover just didn't have the movement on screen. It's a breakdown on the end of the writers and the directors and some of the production team, because what we had was a lot of sitting and a lot of standing and a lot of staring at each other longingly and dreamily. But this is a musical. A musical is about the production. It's about being theatrical. So we have lots of big dance numbers and action and movement and costumes. And this episode just didn't use any of that to its advantage. We got one good, really big number, and most of that's thanks to Darren Criss. The plot of the episode itself was just weird. The Music Meister wanted them to appreciate their girlfriend and boyfriend more. Really? An interdimensional being with extraordinary abilities just wants to help these two kiddos find love. Seems kind of flimsy to me. But by this point, both shows seem to have fallen into that usual CW melodramatic drama hole. I mean, we don't even really see a lot of the Music Meister in the episode. We as an audience don't actually care about him. Not at all. And why does he even care? There is no real payoff for this episode. The Music Meister isn't even really a villain to be defeated. Even if he is going around causing problems and nearly killing people. and kind of fucking with their right to consent, he's even less of a nuisance than Mizipillik. So if you want to see a super fun Music Meister episode, go watch Batman the Brave and the Bold. You can't dislike Neil Patrick Harris. But for me, this episode crossover was such a huge disappointment for it, and that just kind of sucked because I had really high expectations for it. They wanted to rush through all of the relationship conflict while cranking up the tension. Everything is just blown so far out of proportion in the show when the natural character development, it would have been so much more interesting. They wanted to capitalize on the musical talent of the cast, which I honestly can't blame them for. But they failed to do it in a way that was creative and innovative. And in the end, that just translated to one boring-ass episode that happened to have some kind of cool music in it. Too bad, huh?
All right, you caught us.
We're in love.
Oh, gross.